Well, welcome to Market of the Moment. I'm Sharon Terhune, the Vice President and Sales Manager for Fidelity National Title. Joined here every week by my partner in crime over here, Mr. Don Tchaikovsky, our Director of Channel Sales here at Fidelity National Title. Thank you guys for joining us for another week.
Yeah, this is exciting. So we are now a couple weeks into September, and we have the Prospecting Blueprint event in our rear view mirror. That was,
amazing.
The response we got to it tells us a lot about our market, I think,
Yeah.
too, right? The fact that we were able to sell that out in 5 days in a fairly large room that we had that
with a waiting list.
The waiting list.
Yeah.
And so in 5 days we had a full house. We probably had a few more people show up than we had signed up. And but it went great. But it tells us a lot about what people are needing right now, what our partners are needing in the business, right? And so as we are seeing reduced opportunities, reduction in number of homes being sold each month, then it also tells us that people they want to get back to how to go out and find the business. And that's what I loved about that event, is that we designed it around different ways to speak to your audience, to speak to your client base, to speak to your sphere, and that it was I think so widely received because we covered so many different areas. So it wasn't just about making phone calls. It wasn't just about door knocking or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It was they had some of everything in there. And what I really like about this, and I don't remember which one of our panelists were saying, but they were talking about taking the nuggets from there, right?
Yeah.
And how important it is to just take those pieces. And there might be parts of farming that really spoke to you.
Right.
And there might be parts of the phone prospecting that really spoke to you.
Right.
And you might be able to come up with your own combination of the things and figure out how to go out and execute really well in the business. So
I think there was kind of a universal message from all 4 panels. So there was 4 separate panels, and we're going to dip into each of the panels, I think, over the next few weeks, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
But I think the unique message that I heard personally was that you just need to go do it.
Right.
And we heard that very consistently because everybody says they want business, but putting the work in and the time to do it, especially today when you're getting back to basics, meaning you got to go door knock, you got to make phone calls, you got to spend money on mailers if that's what you want to do and hit your farm area, or get those client appreciation events going on, or whatever it is. And I think for me, that again, we know that we know that we're in these conversations every single day. It's your time or money, pick it, one or the other. You gotta start getting back to all this. We had a nice little ride for a couple years, where nobody really had to do a lot of that. They just their phone rang. Now it's the strong will survive, right? And that's okay. We're good with it. We're totally good with it.
Well, and what else I thought was pretty neat is the way that our panelists talked about some of the grassroots ways as well. Because I've always felt like farming, and we'll talk about that in another episode. But I felt like farming is one of those more expensive things to do, to go out and build business. Yeah. And I felt like that's kind of what slows people down. But Janina Agliani did a great job of talking about how she brought it down to she started, she didn't have a budget to go with it, farming, and how she still, she made photocopies and she did that kind of stuff and hit the doors herself. And I love that. So, Michelle Minnick, who's on the panel we're going to look at today, she spent time talking about the go to work, right? That get up, take a shower, dress for work, ideally go to an office, someplace that's outside of your home. She's like, you're not really, doing your job. You're not really into your job if you're doing laundry while you're doing your job.
Right.
And so I loved that, and that was a really great part that I thought she brought to the just go out and do it and be consistent conversation.
Yeah, and that truly it is a full time. Today it needs to be a full time thing today. It really does. It's hard to be part time agent today.
Right.
It is, and survive because there's still transactions. I mean, there's over 6,000 whatever closings that just took place, but so you just have to go get your piece of it, but it still means that there's still how many tens of thousands of agents out there going after that business too.
And I think and we were in a conversation yesterday where we talked about that number of transactions over the month, and 6,000, 6,500, whatever it is. But it's important to remember that there's 2 sides to each one of those transactions.
Exactly.
Right. So we're talking 12 to 13,000 opportunities per month, and that for you to go out there and get your ideally unfair share of that, right? To go
Right.
get more than the equal, because at that rate, we know 50,000 agents, whatever it is in the valley.
Right.
But to be able to go out there and if you're working hard and there's business to be had,
Yeah.
even though we're down from when it was 9,000, right?
Right.
So we're down from that, but
Or 12 months ago, I think it was like 12,000
Yeah.
actually, a year
Yeah.
ago. I think we
Yeah,
pulled.
so we're definitely down
Yeah.
from those kind of numbers, but there is still so much opportunity when we're looking at 12 to 13,000 sides a month. So,
Well, and that's why I love this event. Was so smart, so well put together, so well thought out, and so strategic in how everyone answered and thought about their answers. In fact, it was so strategic that everyone on the panel, I loved this, and I pointed it out during the event, were taking notes. These people are top producing agents or running teams, and they're sitting there taking copious notes through the whole everyone else's presentations. And that just put a smile on my face. I'm like, wow, if there's any reason that anybody else in this room doesn't have a pen in their hand, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because here we go,
And even some of the panels, so they sat in the front row and they
Yeah.
were making the notes
Yeah.
while they were sitting watching the other panels. But even some while they were up and it was their turn to be on panel, they were still making notes of what the other panels
what the
were
other
saying.
panels
So,
was talking.
loved
I know it was
Yeah,
so
loved it.
good. But I think this is what differentiates Fidelity National Title, Don.
Yeah.
I really do. Our goal is to help our partners be better, get more business, and close more transactions.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, if we're helping you do that, that's going to help us as well, and that's
Yeah.
our currency, right?
Yeah.
Closing deals. And I know that that makes us stand out from other
Yeah.
title companies
Yeah.
out there.
Absolutely. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at so this week we're going to look at our Sphere prospecting
Okay.
group. So
Glad you said that.
Yeah. But so let's take a look at this group and what a great group. Again, we had so
This was
many
the lady
amazing
panel.
people. Right. Yes.
Lady panel.
So on this we had Colleen Olson, we had Heather Openshaw, and Michelle Minnick, and all three of them spoke about how they speak to the people that they already know, and go out there and continue those relationships and make sure they're staying top of mind. So what a great group it was.
Let's take a look.
What strategies can be employed to effectively nurture relationships within your sphere of influence?
I love it. So I feel like we have to take a step back before I can answer the question. And first we have to know why we're working. And so what is the point? Why do we come to work every day? Is it because we're trying to build wealth for our family? Is it because we're trying to help the people in our lives? Is it because we want to take our kids to Disneyland? Whatever that reason is, you have to figure out what the purpose of it is. So I'm very systematic in everything that I do. And so once I figure out why, then I figure out, okay, how much money do I need to accomplish that why, right? And it's different for all of us. We all have a different thermostat of what that needs to be and for our budget, our future, all that kind of good stuff. So after you figure out why you're doing what you're doing, how much money you need to do what you want to do, then you can write a plan of how you want to work it. And so you get to decide, and I believe there's 4 panels, and you get to decide one or all you want to do it. So we're here to talk about Sphere. So how can I make the money that I want to with just through my Sphere or through a portion of my Sphere. So like our team, we have Sphere, open houses, and farm, right? And so Sphere is our biggest one. 75% of our business comes from Sphere. And so how do we do that? So the first thing is we wrote out a plan. And so our plan consists of 81 touches throughout the year for our Sphere. So to go back to numbers, let's talk about, so if we're going to talk about Mets and non-Mets. So if you know 100 people that if they saw you at Fry's, they would say hi to you, raise your hand. If you do know 200 people that if they saw you at Fry's, raise your hand. 300 people.
Probably me.
So 300 is the number. If you want to sell 50 houses a year, you need to have 300 people in your database that would recognize you at Fry's. Okay? So the alternative to that is if you want to work with non-Mets, so people you haven't met, then for the same 50 houses, you need to know 2,500 people. So what do you prefer? Talking to the 300 people that know, love, and trust you, or 2,500 randos?
I like the random.
There's no right or wrong. You
Yeah.
can do both, right? And you can do a combination of it. You
2,800
get to decide what that is, and you get to build your plan. And so real quick for our plan. So we do 5 touches of client events. So we pick the things that we love. So our next one coming up is Zoo Lights. We'll buy 500 tickets. If you're an individual agent, don't think it has to be that many. My first year was 10 people came, and I partnered with other agents in my office, and nobody knew I only had 10 people there, right? They thought all those people were mine, and they weren't, and that's okay. And so we have 500. So we do a call to invite them, we do a mailing to invite them, we do an email to invite them. They have to fill out a form. On the form, it asks all the questions that I want to know. Are you looking to make a move in the next 5 years? Who do you know that's going to be looking to make a move in the next 5 years? Are you interested in building a plan and investing through real estate, right? And so they kind of tell themselves about what they have coming up. And so we work that plan. We see them at the event. We send a thank you note afterwards. We call them afterwards, all that kind of good stuff, right? The next thing is seller alerts. So we use HomeBot. It's an almost free tool to be able to give your sellers regular updates. I love it because it tells them if they sold their house as a short-term, or if they used their house as a short-term rental, what they would get. They could refinance with Bernie, and they would tell them how much they could get back out. It tells them how much their house is appreciated. So it's not just one thing. It's like whatever their interest is, it's telling them. We do 24 e-alerts. Again, another almost free tool. They get, if someone is going to start a home and they know they want to buy horse property, I will tell them what their house is worth in their neighborhood, and I also send them horse property so they can keep their mind on the goal, right? Let's get you to horse property. And then, let's see what else. We do regular database emails, partner with people, and for personal touches. If I have a client that's a TSA person, I will text them every time in the airport.
Can I borrow that?
I love what you said, Heather, because honestly, if you just wear your name tag in a grocery store or a department store, someone's going to stop you and ask questions thinking you work there. It's a perfect way to start talking to people. And build that
The fries tag.
sphere of people that know you in fries.
Right.
Thank you, Heather. Awesome. All right, Michelle,
Only if you're having a good hair day.
talked a lot about sphere of influence. That's what we're talking about here, and we know what it is. But tell us how you explain the concept of being top of mind. So being top of mind and how that is significant in sphere farming.
If I can give you any bit of advice, don't screw this one up like I did. I am not kidding you. I had so many people over the years adding to whatever database I had back in the day. Don't mess this one up, because all the business that you're going to do is going to come from word of mouth. That's guaranteed money for you. So I've been taught over the last decade on how I screwed it up so bad. And the number one thing is get a CRM and use it.
Amen.
Yes, husband. Quit staring at me like that. How many times have you changed my CRM? I told him this was the last one,
Oh,
and Jennifer
my.
knows, or we're getting a divorce, and then he changed it again. It's okay. But if you don't use it,
If you
it
do-
doesn't matter. And what she's talking about is the touches. This works for you while you're working. So I don't understand why we have all these fancy tools out there. I don't get it. You're not even putting any effort in. If you don't know how to use it, guess what? Pick up the phone and call somebody that does, right? These lovely people that are sitting around here, we're all coaches, we're all team leaders, we're here to help. I coach people in the industry that aren't even on my team. Why do I do that? Because I want to make it a better place to be for each other and one another. But the first thing is get the CRM. The second thing is train on it, use it. Make sure your data is accurate. So the one thing I like to see is Joe No Name in my database. And I'm going back to going, well, who is Joe No Name? I don't know who Joe No Name is. And where does he live? And what is his birthday? And why is he in my system? So you have to prune this system. And I say on a daily basis that you're working. I always try to tell everybody that when you're working, when you're not working, you don't need to be looking at your database. Get up in the morning, pick the first 10, and then go through it. Make sure everything is set up. Don't be a spammer. These people come into your database, maybe it's your mom or your dad or whoever, and their dream is to live in Forest Lakes, and you're sending them stuff in Sun City. I don't get that. So look at what you're sending, the data. You're spamming people. I get people all the time like, why are you sending me $1 million homes? I'm buying a mobile. That's insulting to people, right? Because we serve all, right? Land, mobiles. We do horse property. I mean, if California falls into the sea, we've got oceanfront coming our way. I don't wish that, but I wish I had an oceanfront property that I could afford. But the point point being is that we've got these systems set up in place to make your life easy. So know your system. HomeBot is a really great tool, and actually I just learned how to integrate that with Sync. Okay, so our system is called Sync. It's Commissions Inc. And you can run advertising through it, you can nurture through it, and we set up an entire plan. Some people have 33 touches, I have others that have 12. We have our protocol when something comes in on what we're exactly supposed to do. It just tells you, hey Heather, do this today. Hey Heather, do that today. Right? Text this person, call this person. This person's looking at a property. It literally works for you. So utilize that. Make sure your CRM has a website, okay? Because it doesn't matter if you're not able to see what a person is doing on there, like your sphere of influence, you're not able to keep up with what their lives are and what their changes are. So that's a good thing. Another reason for using our CRM is to do events, right? So this is a really good way for us to make sure that we're sending the information to all the right people. My event may be different. Each event might be different. So we're having one coming up in October, and I'm forcing my ops manager, everybody else is on board, but I love trick or treat. And I don't have, my kids are grown now, so I'm doing trunk or treat. And I've got a great team, and everybody's drunk. Yeah, I told you to be there. I already invited you. Trunk or treat, okay? So the trunk or treat, everybody's gonna, they're gonna have their cars all decked out. We're gonna have a contest for the adults, the best, the worst car. I bet I'm gonna get the best for sure. But then we'll have the costume contest for the adults, and then we'll have the kids contest, right? And there'll be giveaways from our friends and our partners over here, and that's going to bring your people together. And when you're together, they're talking about you, and they're talking about your team and the professionals that are helping them through one of the most challenging things in their life, which is to buy a home. It's up there with, what would we say, death, divorce, taxes, and buying a home. So we're right up there on the top. So camaraderie and nurturing that database, but use your CRM. And BombBomb is the last thing I do want to talk about. A lot of people don't know about BombBomb. Joe and Courtney over here, they love my BombBombs. I like to send them all kinds of videos. I don't like typing. I like to do videos. And yes, we all hate ourselves on videos. Don't watch them, okay? But the reason why I like the BombBomb is because it's actually like a live shot of you, so you got to kind of get ready, right? So when you're doing it, you can't pick your nose or anything, because they'll get it, they'll see that. And it's like, hey, like you're waving at them. Some people put up signs, and when they open their email, they see you and your wonderful face. And you can put that into your drip campaign, which I find really awesome, because I literally make my videos for like at the beginning of the year, usually in October when you do business planning for the entire next year. So I don't even have to work. So I'm like, Merry Christmas! And I'll dress up my Santa outfit or whatever, or I'll do videos of my family members, and it's all done in advance. Nobody knows it, right? And every year it's different, but they can see you consistently. They're always seeing you. You never go away. You're like a bad virus, okay? So BombBomb, Sync, and then use your system.
Awesome. Yeah. And we didn't even ask you to endorse Sync, which is a Fidelity product.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you guys need an introduction to Commissions Inc., we're happy to help you with that.
That's awesome.
So, okay, well, thank you for that answer. And I just want to mention again, so the QR codes are underneath each person's picture over here. So if you'd like to set up an opportunity for training with them or more in-depth education on what we're doing, scan that QR code, and it's going to give you a good opportunity. We'll reach out to you to get that set up. So, okay, so this question's out for everybody. And so Michelle kind of covered a lot of this already, but how do technological advancements such as social media, CRMs, impact your sphere of prospecting? So the things that maybe you guys have done to integrate that.
These are speed dating right now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I want to second the CRM. I've had the same CRM for 19 years. Okay, all of your money is in your CRM. okay? I was in the airline industry for 31 years, so everything is documented when you travel, even if you're good, bad, or ugly. And same thing in your CRM. My assistant will say to me, okay, we have 3 checking-ins today. And I'm like, okay, now remind me who they are. Oh yeah, remember they're coming from Ohio. They have Susie and Bobby. They're going to be in 5th and 6th grade. He works for Intel. They want to be, and so, you know, she's spatting that off. So when I go to make the phone call, I look brilliant.
Yes.
So your CRM is where all of your money is. So if you do not have your CRM in order, you just stop, drop. That's the number one thing you do, okay? Truly, all of your money, birthdays, anniversaries, everything. And and social media is just really basically social proof. You know, we use it just basically for, you know, sales, testimonials, things like that. And I'm telling you that my phone just rings and they come to me. Sphere is a little bit different, I think, from the other prospecting. Again, the phone, they come to us. We don't have to go to them. So, which is, you know, it's a beautiful thing. All the referrals that come in, 82% of my business is relocation. And so I help with the hospitals and Intel and all of them. And I have the trust of all of the relo directors. They come directly to me. And you know why? Because they know I take really good care of their clients. They get birthday cards, anniversary cards, wealth management every 6 months. 6 months. So the value of their homes. And so that was technology. I'm going to point one thing out. Scott knows about this. My newsletter, yellow, okay? Everybody says, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you a quick story. One client handed to another client. They were in Danville, California. My client had just bought in DC Ranch. And she had a client in, and she's an esthetician. And she says, oh, we just bought a cute villa in DC Ranch. And she goes, we've been looking in 10 years for Scottsdale. We've never found an agent we like. She goes, oh, here, you need to call Colleen. A week later, the husband called me, had a conversation. A week later, met him in person.
And they liked you.
19 homes later.
Wow.
In 1 year.
That's beautiful. 19 homes. That's
And
huge.
yep, and so the number one thing, I know people see the yellow, they open the mailbox. My coach has proven it for years. They open up, they see yellow, they go, Colleen's here. And you know what's even better? On the back of the newsletter, all of my trades.
Yep.
So you know what they do? They pull it off and they put it on the refrigerator. So the plumber, electrician, flooring, title, lenders are all on the newsletter.
Beautiful.
So this is my number one moneymaker. And you know what? Stickers go in for the kids. So what? Guess what? When that comes in the mailbox, they're fighting with each other because they're like, what stickers do we get? Or I'll put Starbucks cards in there.
I still love stickers.
I'm telling you, we can always tell
Knock the kid.
when the newsletter goes out. Within a week, you know, Colleen, we need this. You know, we need to move. We need to sell. Number one. And guess what? When you move away, you still get it. Do you know how much my repeat business?
Never go away.
They move away.
It goes away.
Yeah. So one client sold a $200,000 house in Tremonto. They had to move to Kansas City. They called and said, we're coming back 2 years later. Sold them a DC Ranch. 2 years later, they said, Colleen, we're getting relocated again. Moved away. I got a call last week. He says, you know what?
We're coming
We're
back.
ready to buy our house in Silverleaf.
Nice. Beautiful. I think.
Heather, do you want to, yeah, why don't you?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Technology stuff, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that.
Technology,
Yeah.
Heather?
Sure. So technology is technology, but if you don't use it, it doesn't matter. So how many people are calling their clients 4 times a year? If you're not at your goals, then start there. And so you can put any CRM, do anything like that, have all these fancy videos, it doesn't matter if you're not calling them. So my technology advice is
Just
to
pick up the
actually
phone.
work the database, not
And use it. Right?
Oh, Heather? That's a true statement. I can't really beat that one. Let's see. Technology. I love it and I hate it.
Mass text messages.
I hate it when it breaks. I think mainly you know, for branding purposes, you got to be on social media. I mean, at the end, I hate it. It's all about my kid. I mean, if anybody knows me, or you're on my social media platform, it's about my kid and his amazingness. My other kid too, he's out of the house now, but if you look on my social media, it's really about my family and kind of what I'm doing, what I love. And then I have an entire another Facebook, which is the team. Because I don't really put myself a lot on my team Facebook because I want their business to grow. And so that's huge for me because when people, like, and I would say we can attest to this, they see the logo or the brand and things like that. That's already been established. And so it's taken years and years and years to do it. But if you start now, and you don't stop, and you do it, you're consistent. It's like going to the gym, guys. It's like going to the gym. That muscle will grow, and people will recognize you. People are always watching you. I just want to let you know that. They're always watching you.
All right. Wow.
It's true. It's true. You know
You know
what
what
I'm
I
talking about.
love? I'm looking at the panel in the front, and most of them are taking notes. I mean, how great is this? We have all these top producers here and taking notes. I hope everyone in the room is taking notes. You have notepads, I think, in the back or somewhere. So please, 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 you guys, if you don't walk away with nuggets today, then shame on you, right? So many great things. Thank you guys so much. We're going to do one quick thing. We have literally 2 minutes left on this panel, maybe a minute and a half now. This is called speed dating. You have 30 seconds to answer this question, Michelle. What are some common challenges that individuals face when implementing sphere prospecting, and how can they become overcome? So give me one example of a challenge. One challenge, that's all.
I'm going to say making the calls. Making the calls. Like just getting up and making conversation with people. It's really strange on how we like are our own worst enemy. Everything gets in the way of it. Show up to your office. Get dressed.
day.
Don't
Every
be at
day.
your house. I'll tell you, that's the number one thing. I see the agents in my office, the ones that do it from home, and then the ones that do it at the office, they're focused. When you're at home, you do the laundry.
Yep.
When you're at the office, you work.
Awesome.
So show up.
Good answer. Love that.
Here, you go first.
So you want to find someone who is above you, okay?
Oh, that's a good one.
Who sells much higher than you do, okay? You know, attend the luxury meetings, okay? I was sent to Seattle. I'd only been in the business for 5 months. My broker sent me to Who's Who in Luxury Real Estate in Seattle. And I was with people from all over the world. The best advice I got from the CEO was, go home and join a club. Tennis club, a gym. I went home. I joined Gainey. I have made enough money from the gym to pay my membership for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Easily.
I love that.
Okay, real quick. Ask yourself if you would hire yourself. So if you don't believe that you are the best agent in this room, then you need to borrow the confidence until you get it. And you need to go be an expert at whatever that is. So if you love community, then go be an expert at community. So whenever someone thinks of community, they think of you. If you love new home sales, go be an expert at new home sales and tell everyone and shout it from the world that you are the new home expert. If you love investing, then go be the best investor, and you better be investing yourself, right? And so immerse yourself in whatever it is so that you are the best person in the room.
Wow. Gosh, it just brings me right back to that day. Love it. I know I took even notes on everything. Even just watching these reels again, there were things, because you and I were up front, very difficult for us to take notes. So I enjoy watching this.
That's why we made sure we had a videographer there, right? So
Yeah,
so we could go back and watch
exactly.
it all again. So yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, how about, that was great. So that's our first out of 4. So we're excited to bring you that. And you're going to wish that you were there. And next time we do something like this, you're going to want to jump in and get on there. So let's go ahead and pass this over to Mindy, who was on one of our panels actually, but another week we'll talk about that. But Mindy Jones, Miss Market Master Mindy, what's going on?
It's no surprise that consumers are confused about what's happening in the local real estate market and asking the question if now is a good time to buy or sell. With every new data point tracked and shared on news outlets nationwide, from interest rates to housing prices, there's an overwhelming amount of information to process, much of which is shared without context. And we know that content without context is just noise, and there's a whole lot of that going around. Year-over-year tracking has proven difficult due to the abnormal activities of the last 4 years. And while we had just gotten back to being able to compare things like inventory and appreciation to a post-frenzy market in the beginning of 2022, we're now stuck comparing current numbers to the shortest buyer's market ever recorded in the latter half of 2022. Perspective becomes increasingly important in a market that's fueled by anemic supply and mediocre demand and still manages to result in increasing prices and multiple offers. The challenge that I see in the current market is lots and lots of unleveraged funds. Most people do not let hundreds of thousands of dollars sit in a low interest savings account, but are simultaneously letting that same money sit in a single asset, which they call their primary residence. Also, while affordable housing is clearly an issue, big box investors are purchasing, which is a sign that they both see the demand for their product, which in many cases in Arizona is built to rent, and there's consumer appetite for a monthly payment that in today's market would equate to nearly $400,000 in purchase price. With just 2 months of inventory, looking can be challenging. But remember, these conditions are in spite of interest rates that have been higher than average. Facing a rolling recession where some industries will thrive while others will fail, demand for housing is expected to increase with the reduction in interest rates, not decrease. Home prices are stable for the moment, but make no mistake, with 6 to 7% appreciation over the past 8 months and 12 fewer days on market compared to last year, sales prices are expected to continue to rise as our temperatures start to fall.
Mindy, thank you so much. Appreciate you every week, your insight, and we're looking forward to seeing your panel on here as well. So thank you for that. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the finances of the real estate world. And I think Ms. Amber Kabark of Guild Mortgage has that for us.
All right, let's talk interest rates. Now, there's a couple of different ways to view where we're at right now. If we go back 4 or 5 months, we can see that interest rates have been on a very simple, linear, and unfortunately upward trend. If we look at a smaller picture over the last week or so, we can see that rates have been trading fairly sideways. This sideways pattern is likely due to the market preparing for the CPI report coming out this week and next week's Fed announcement. Now, the CPI has been one of the most important sources of influence for the market at any given month over the past few years, and this could be one of the more notable examples. CPI has been falling in general, but that decline might be a bit misleading. Impacting headline inflation is oil prices, which moved up roughly 2.3% in August. So there's a chance that we could see the headline inflation number move higher in this reading. At the end of the day, everyone is trying to get the same answer. Is inflation truly defeated, or does policy need to stay tighter to keep inflation from bouncing? The market keeps waiting for the Fed to say that the reduction in inflation is sustainable and we're on the right track, and the Fed keeps saying we don't know yet. Now, CoreLogic just reported that home prices rose 0.4% in July and are now up 2.5% year over year. Based on the first half of this year, the CoreLogic report is on pace for just under 9% national home price appreciation in 2023. So yes, interest rates are up, but prices are up also, and the data is showing that that trend is likely to continue. So the longer that you wait, the more likely it is that you will be paying a higher price for the same home today you could get for less. So reach out so we can help build a winning strategy.
Thanks, Amber, so much for that update. You know, Dawn and I, every week we sit here and think, okay, Amber's going to start talking about free money again one of these days.
Right. We're waiting.
One of these
those free money days.
It's going to be a free money day, isn't it, Dawn?
Exactly. Those were fun.
Anyway, thank you, Amber, for that update, as always. Well, Dawn, I think this is wrapping up another week of Market of the Moment. You come here and join us every single week and get the pulse on what's going on in the market.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Ciao.